Oh, you picked a great night to be with us on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world. It's a night in which the Formula V fraternity heads to Birmingham, Alabama, to Barber Motorsport Park, the original first-round venue of this championship before a late change saw it drafted into week 8, a direct switcheroo with the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And then we're off to the streets of Adelaide, which, of course, will be the centre of the Australian Motor Racing Universe at the end of November. Tonight, the centre of attention for our Porsche Cup offering, and a 40-minute race out of the Pro Split coming your way this evening. The Elite Split will have the results from the Open Split, of course, at the end of the broadcast. Good evening, everybody. Zach Caban alongside Matt Schmidtke, who will perform a baton change at half-time, hand it over to Andrew Neal. He'll be here for the Porsches. Welcome to Thursday Night Motorsport, live, exclusive and free across Facebook and YouTube. That is Barber Motorsport Park. Clock frozen for some reason. Please tell me we don't have a rolling start tonight, Schmidty.
Nope, I've checked, and that we don't have, so we're on the grid this time.
Thank Christ, because there were a few people last week who were pushing it and cutting it fine in getting to the Porsche servers in time for qualifying, because in a sprint round, you have to be there in the server, logged in, ready to go at the start of qualifying. They do not let you join partway through the session. Exciting times here, ladies and gentlemen. Pivotal point of the championship, races 22, 23 and 24 coming your way. Sam Chapman, the leader at the moment. But look at the margin as it comes up on your screen, courtesy of Matty Schmidtke. Just 8 points between he and Braden Sagassa, and Johnny Merritt is only another 16 further back. So 24 points covers the top three. That's a click of the fingers in this caper, given how tight the racing's been so far. Look at that, only 6 points covered first and third on the round points leaderboard this time last week. Adam Lavis in fourth on 647 and 641 for Lockie Purvis make up the top five. Long shot for anyone beyond that, let's be perfectly honest. Derek Fitzgerald, Ryan Tate, Michael Adams, Jordan Pianazzola and Brendan Nealon make up the top 10, but less than 200 points, 188 in fact, cover the first 10 in the running order. Depleted field tonight. I'm not thrilled about that, but I am thrilled about this. I got a message here in my inbox about 3/4 of an hour ago saying, hey, dude, just a heads up, I can only stay for the first race, so if you see me go, it's all cool. It's not a rage quit or anything. Our good mate Grant Boyden had a lot of fun in here with us last week. Now he's going to go and see if he's going to have more fun on circuit, or whether he's going to team up and join us here in the commentary box next week instead. I'll be interested to gauge where he sits with that, which of these environments is more fun for him, the cockpit out there in the thick of the action with our racers, or... And he's already talking, he's multitasking. The great man is multitasking. Or, of course, whether it's much more comfortable and much more enjoyable here in the commentary box with us. And he's welcome here anytime he likes. Grid for race one looks like this. The two blokes that duked it out throughout race one last week, John Merritt and Sam Chapman, share the front row of the grid. Lockie Purvis, Adam Lavis from row 2, Glenn Sennett, Riddell and Braden Sagassa from 3, Derek Fitzgerald, Ryan Tate from 4, Michael Adams and Tony Baker from 5, Hilton Booth, Patrick Savina from 6, then Brendan Nealon, Eli Donaldson, Jordan Pianazzola, then Boydo, and James Denton, I believe, is in race control for us this evening, overseeing things. Now, it's interesting. We've got a standing start. That's good news. It's 36 degrees on track. Can we bring that graph back, please, Schmitty? Thank you. 10 o'clock in the morning, local server time, 10 kilometre an hour winds, easterly direction, nothing changing there, 20 degrees the ambient, and 42% humidity. So it's bone dry in Birmingham, Alabama, and we are ready to rock and roll. Still waiting for Merritt, Chapman, Lavis, Tate and Adams to join us. I like Grant's etiquette, though, because he's a late arrival in the series. True to his word, he said he was going to join the club. Sure enough, up front with the money, out there in the war zone, the battlefield tonight. So he's a man of his word. But secondly, he said, I'm not intending on ruining anyone's championship, so I'm starting at the back, staying out of the road. He gets that luxury for the first race. If he's able to stay for the other two, maybe not so lucky. Ready to fire! Race 22 of the season, Disruptive Labs, Formula V and Thursday Night Motorsport. Let's go! Barney enthusiastically waves the green, and John Merritt on the inside has been swamped off the start by Chapo. Chapo gets the whole shot and lead top lap to turn 1. Positional change already. Locking purpose, Glenn Cedar, Riddell and Braden Sagasa make up the top 5. Sagasa needs to make light work of getting by Cito and Purvis and get out of pursuit of the 2 championship rivals in Merritt and Chapman. Down to turn 5 for the first time. Cito, a good start, but he's lost out to Lockie Purvis on the exit of 5. And now he's there to potentially be a fork in the road for Braden Sagasa. John Merritt down the inside of Chapo. And through. Oh, Purvis is gone. Purvis gets help out, exit stage left from Glenn Cito Riddell. And all of that has allowed the seas to part beautifully for Braden Sagasa, and he's got a clear look now at Chapman and Merritt. Good clean start. Eli Donaldson has dropped down to 15th as well. Great to see one of our GT3 championship contenders out there on a Thursday night. Chapman and Merritt side by side. Through the roller coaster we go. And look at Sagasa now, right there, nipping at the heels of Merritt, who's down on the inside of Chapman. They're side by side already. Chapman leads Merritt to the main straight. Chapman more wins in this series than anyone so far this season. 4 in the first half of the season, of course. And in the back half of the campaign so far, he's picked up another couple, but he'll be hoping to pick up more wins throughout the course of the next 3 weeks to keep these blokes at bay. Braden Sagasa giving him a good run for his money on the race wins front as well, and John Merritt fast creeping up on them. No Alex Burgersherd tonight either, important to note. So Boydo's out there representing Grant Boyden Racing in Burgersherd's absence. No Nathan Moroney either. And on the subject of Boydo, he also said to me, I can only stay for 1, but I'm going to try and stay for all 3 because I've got another bounding commitment and obligation to get to, but I'm trying like buggery to get out of it. And I don't blame him, because who wouldn't want to be here front and centre in a Formula V on a Thursday night? Look at that line of cars at the moment. 11 deep back to Jordan Pianazzola before the first gap in the road. Back to Brendan Nealon, Patrick Savina, Eli Donaldson and Lockie Purvis. Glenn Cedar Riddell cops a 5-second penalty for the contact on Purvis that saw him exit stage left. And Ryan Tate up from 8th to 3rd on the inside of Merritt at the end of the second lap. And here comes Adam Lavis as well. The 2 Pulse Tuning boys have been pounced on, and Merritt slots back into 5th spot. Then Cito, then their 3rd teammate, Tony Baker as well. Down the main straight, look at Ryan Tate. Chapo weaves left and right. Tate through the middle of the lot of them. Ryan Tate wants to weak this at turn 1, and Chapo will let him do so. Oh, you picked a good night to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Tate leads, trouble at the back. Michael Adams has gone. Hilton Booth. Adams gets back on the road. Hilton Booth left behind, and with them, unfortunately, Boydo had to take some evasive action as well, and so did Tony Baker. Look at this, 3 wide to turn 5. Have a look at Adam Lavis. As best in contention as he's been in a couple of weeks in Disruptive Labs Formula V. He's pushing Chapo along at the moment. Ryan Tate's in the middle. Braden Sagasa's down on his inside. Here comes Merritt. They're 4 wide down to turn 6. That usually doesn't work. Somehow they got away with it this time. Fitzgerald and Baker both with a mechanical meatball that they'll have to come and clear in pit lane. Baker on the tow rope already. Off in the background is Brendan Nealon. In the grass. And that's about the only good thing about this venue compared to where we're going with the Porsches tonight. Plenty of runoff area. And as we saw last week at Brands Hatch, the Formula V's go all right, acting as whippersnippers and lawnmowers as well. Up over the rise and down. Chapo leads by 2 car lengths from Merritt, then Tate. So very quickly from hero to 3rd for Ryan Tate. He led at the start of the previous lap. Sagasa and Lavis in there side by side as well. Oh, well, if they're going to dish this up for the rest of the night, Schmitty, it could be a very quiet night for you.
Yeah, it's some great racing and not a lot of incidents. It's very nice to watch.
But the only trouble looming would be that Andrew Neil might have to do play-by-play for the Porsches, because my voice box will give up at some point. If they keep at the intensity and the ferocity of which we've seen already so far to this point, up and down towards turn 5 will go. 6 of them duking it out for the lead. Chapman, Merritt, Tate, whoa! And Michael Adams under pressure here from Patrick Savina. So too Jordan Pianazzola. Remember that those guys, Eli Donaldson, Lockie Purvis and Savina. So Purvis has got through on Savina. It's interesting because Michael Adams is leading that battle pack for 7th at the moment. It's 5 deep. One of them will miss out on being involved in the invert. Down the inside goes Jordan Pianazzola for 7th. And Michael Adams isn't going to have a bar of that. But he might not have a choice on the exit. He gets a pretty good run off there and keeps Pianazzola at bay for the moment. Back then to Eli Donaldson. Great to see him out there, proving that he's just as good. Whoa! He's just as good in a V as he is in a GT3. Braden Sagassa through the grass and has a slowdown coming his way. That'll benefit Ryan Tate and also Sam Chapman and maybe Adam Lavis as well. Sagassa drops from 2nd to 4th. Merritt holds sway at the front at the moment and they're in the grass further back. Derek Fitzgerald with that fast repair sorted leads the charge for the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 43.169. Back to the strike we go. 3 down. What have we got? 2 to go. 4 down, 2 to go, I should say. I'm getting caught up in all the intensity of here and losing the ability to count. I told you maths wasn't my strong point. 4 down, 2 to go. 1 minute 45 about the standing lap time at the moment. 10.5 minutes. We'll get you 6 laps, so we will do the slightest bit of overtime here, but it'll be well and truly worth it. There they go, weaving left to right. Ryan Tate all over the back of John Merritt like a cheap suit. Chapman, Sagassa and Cito the next throw. And Adam Lavis just sitting there, patiently waiting for it all to blow up ahead of him. In position number 6, a 5-second penalty coming the way of Jordan Pianazzola for contact with Hilton Booth at the start of lap 3. That was that incident that also caught up Michael Adams and Tony Baker as well. Here we go. How good's this on a Thursday night? You've picked the right night to be here, as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen. Terrific to have your company wherever you're tuning in. Look at Sagassa there on the inside, on the comeback trail. They've lost contact with Johnny Merritt. That's important to know. We're right on board with Adam Lavis at the moment. And Lavis is nipping at the head. Whoa! Chapman, how did he get away with that? Chapman and Cito lock horns. They were wheel banging. You're not supposed to get away with that in a Formula V. Chapman, Riddell, Lavis 4th, 5th and 6th. They're chasing Tate and Sagassa, but look who's out in front and sailing off into the sunset. Merritt's got a 1.4 second advantage. White flag in the air. Is this one of those circuits where you can hold that sort of an advantage as a solo entry? We'll wait and see. Look at Brayden Sagassa. He's got support from Cloncurry at the moment. How good. We're going global on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Down the back straight we go to turn 5. Merritt, Tate to the outside. Tate to get by Sagassa. Sagassa holds on the inside. Chapman is 3 wide with Cito and Lavis. 142.654 as soon as John Merritt had clear air. He checked out. Fastest lap of the race. Took that away from Derek Fitzgerald. Down to the chicane at the end of the back straight for the final time. Tate's controlling second. Contact. Cito in his second incident of the night. And it's wiped out both championship contenders. Sagassa in trouble. So too Chapman. Can you believe that? Advantage John Merritt. That's one way to help your teammate, but I dare say Cito's going to wear an invoice after the fact. Merritt will win. There is no disputing that. Cito's going to have a late crack at Ryan Tate here to try and be second past the stripe, but we know he's got one invoice coming his way already. He may yet have a second. Look at Adam Laver staring down a podium as well. Cito to the inside, no. John Merritt wins again, this time in Birmingham, Alabama. Race 1 of Instant Classic and Disruptive Loves Formula V. It goes to hot lap. Tate, Riddell, Lavis, Purvis, Donaldson, Savina, Pianazola, and Sagassa with Michael Adams in for 10th. Oh boy. And then further back you had Chapman and Boydo. Booth, Nealon, Fitzgerald, Baker made up the running order. We've got a while to wait for Tony Baker to come home. He's half a lap behind. He spent 2 minutes on the tow rope in pit lane. Boydo goes 12th. Chapman misses out on the invert. Will start 11th. And Michael Adams gets the invert pole again. Have a look at where it all blew up. Sagassa, Riddell. Oh, two separate incidents. Was that Lavis into Chapman as well?
I think it was.
Oh no! Another twist in the narrative. We highly stress that those results are provisional for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, until race control has another look at the tape. Oh my goodness, have a look at this. Riding on board with Adam Lavis. Let's have a look. Oh, that looked like a bit of net code for Lavis.
Yeah, it did, but it's very similar incidents for both cars. Just the inside car drifted a bit wide.
What on earth are we witnessing here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club? My goodness. And just like that, the server transitions from the end of race 1 over into the pre-grid for race 2. And we are ready to go once more. Michael Adams with the invert pole. The championship contender, Braden Sagassa, will start alongside him. There are the finishing results for you in the end. Merritt won it in a canter, 2.792 seconds. That is far too comfortable for the sake of it in Formula V racing. I'm sure they'll change that. They'll fix that this time around, the chasing pack. Jordan Pianazola, Patrick Savina, Eli Donaldson, Lachlan Purvis, Adam Lavis, Glenn Cito, Riddell, Ryan Tate, John Merritt, then Sam Chapman and Grant Boyden alongside Hilton Booth, Brendan Neal on the 7th row of the grid, Derek Fitzgerald and Tony Baker from row number 8. We are set to go again. Disruptive Loves Formula V, 8th last race of the season. We're racing again at Barber Motorsport Park. Beautiful start, Adam Lavis on the inside. Got light work of Eli Donaldson and Lockie Purvis. Oh, a blinder of a start from Adam Lavis on 4 spots to turn 1. From 8th to 4th. What about that? Sagassa got the jump over Pianazola and Adams. And Savina and Lavis and Purvis. Michael Adams spots the start, dropped 5 spots. Holy cow. Down the back straight. Tate had 2 wheels in the grass. He got away with it. He's wide through turn 5, but it'll help him on the exit. Trouble at the back. Boydo's been left behind, unfortunately. You caught that on camera. Let's have a look. This was the moment, unfortunately, for our mate. All on his own. Oh, one thing's for certain, he only needs to gain 1 spot now and he'll have an invert pole. Have a look at that line of cars. 15 deep, if you don't mind. Through the opening lap of race 2. And again, if we went 6 laps in race 1, we can get 9 out of this race. 9 laps out of this race for you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's where the goalposts are. That's what the target is. 15 minutes on the clock. Let's go back to the main straight. Sagassa controlling the race very nicely at the moment. Doing so from Jordan Pianazola. Adam Lavis has got by Patrick Savina on the inside. Lockie Purvis, then Glenn Cito Riddell. And they all go through cleanly to this point. It's exciting to see. Three wide further back. Is that Cedo coming down the inside? Yes, it is. On Lockie Purvis and also Adam Lavis. He got away with it. He gets by Savina and Donaldson, but he can't yet find a way by Purvis and Lavis. Aidan Carl tuning in, cheering on his teammate as well. Sagasa leads by 0.37, proving yet again that it is difficult to break clear of the pack here at Barber. Oh, wide goes Chapman. That's not ideal. Nealon and Donaldson also off the road. Further back, two separate incidents again. Boyden the beneficiary of that. He's going to move up into 14th. I told you we only needed one incident and Grant would find himself in the invert. That was the incident for Donaldson. Evasive action had to be taken. Oh, the rejoin, a shocker. And poor old Brendan Nealon just got poleaxed. Smashed into like a pinata. Ran onto the main straight, 2 laps gone. Have a look at Lavis, close contact there to Jordan Pianozola. He's in close proximity, getting the push along and the slipstream benefits here. He's getting pushed along by Lockie Purvis and he's right up the tail, right up the pipe of Jordan Pianozola right now. Donaldson to pit road as well, so that was a mechanical meatball situation for him, unfortunately. We'll go around the grounds for you as soon as we get a chance, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much happening here at the moment, it's hard to take our eyes off this. Adam Lavis to the inside. Whoa, that was a moment, a definite moment for Pianozola. And I think the fact that Lavis was there saved him. If Lavis wasn't on the inside, I reckon Pianozola would have been looping that one. Let's have a look at this again. Can we go on board with Adam Lavis? I reckon there was a little bit of a touchback in the right direction here from Lavis to save Pianozola's backside. Have a look at this. 3, 2, 1. I reckon he saved him. But I reckon it was the back wheel, Matt Schmidtke. We need to have probably another look at that. Unbelievable save for Jordan Pianozola. My goodness. A 5-second penalty for Eli Donaldson. That's no surprise. The incident with Brendan Neal on the previous lap. Very quick adjudication from, I like that. Race control, just straight down the line. They're not mucking around tonight. Making a decision and sticking to it pretty swiftly. Let's have a look at this again. Have a look at Pianozola. Have a look at the drift work here. The drift work, the slide. Actually, there was no contact at all. It was just a miraculous catch from Jordan Pianozola. I'm glad we got a third look at that because the first 2 angles didn't really tell us definitively whether or not there was contact there. Adam Lavis to the inside and to the lead on Braden Sagasa. Purvis into second, or third I should say. Cedo down on the inside of Pianozola, and Lavis and Sagasa are side by side duking it out for the lead here at Barber Motorsport Park. Up over the crest and down the hill we go. Side by side. Purvis will push his teammate along. Lavis has got the inside line. Here comes Cedo down the inside of everybody. Oh, magnificent racing etiquette from all and sundry there. Racing room being given in copious amounts. Down to this treacherous part of the circuit. The chicane. Turns 7, 8, 9. They're 2 by 2. Lockie Purvis and Glenn Cedo Riddell. Pianozola gets through on Cedo now. Have a look at the chasing pack. Have a look at the chasing pack. Ken Savina and co. Latch on. Merritt's only up 3 spots at the moment. He goes 7th if he can get by. Patrick Savina here. He'll be out in pursuit of his teammate. Not going to be easy to clear that deficit of 1.6 seconds, but challenge accepted for John Merritt, who won the opening race by 2.7. Down the inside, gets by Savina. Nicely done. Not yet. Not yet. Savina's going to force the issue and make him work a little bit harder for that one. And here comes Michael Adams up around the outside as well. Savina still hanging tough around the outside. Oh, John Merritt's got to reset and try again. How good is this? Thursday Night Motorsport delivering an epic from Barber Motorsport Park. Have a look at them fan out across the main straight here. Merritt to the inside. This time he's going to clear Savina. Now he goes to 6th. Adams down on the inside, couldn't yet get through. Off goes Eli Donaldson again. Boydo's got Brendan Nealon for company at the moment. So you've got this 8-car battle pack, the 7-car battle pack. You got the 6 at the front, and you got these two in a battle for 14th and 15th as well. One of them will have the invert pole, one of them will not. If things stay as they are. 17-13, Geelong lead Adelaide at the moment. I'll get back to that shortly with a bit more of a breakdown for you. Our first around the grounds update for the night. Golf, cricket, 2 cricket matches actually, 1 test, 1 one-day international. The NRL and the AFL all on a big Thursday night, complementing our coverage here of Formula V and the Porsche Cup. Adam Lavis leads. Clear air for Mav. It's been a while. He grabbed a race win back in round 1 at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. He got one at Summit Point as well, because Chapo ended up getting whacked across the knuckles. He has not been back on the podium since. As Adam Lavis has been a bit of a lean run since round 3. 4th, 9th, 10th, 19th, 6th, 11th, 4th, 14th, 6th, 4th, 7th. And trouble there for Chapo. On replay, sees him plummet down to 12th. Is this the night where the championship battle turns on its head? And apologies, folks, I might have 3 screens at my disposal, but I was buried in the stat sheet then, so I didn't see the replay until the very last second. Down the inside, Lockie Purvis to the lead. Lavis to the inside to try and get it back through turn 2. Here comes Sagasa under pressure from Pianazola and Cito as well. Oh, unlucky Mark. That's Mark Register just chiming in on the comments there. Yeah, you got to be quick with that cut-off time, don't you, Schmidtke? It doesn't take any prisoners because it's a super sprint format. If you're not in by the start of quali, see you next week.
Yep, you got to get it. As soon as that timer runs out, you are done. And with it being lone quali, it stops before quali starts.
Right there is Patrick Savina on pit road as well. Donaldson and Chapman have also been in for fast repairs during this race. Chapo just that last lap through. So Chapo down in 14th at the moment. Nealon and Boyden move up to 13th and 12th. Donaldson and Chapman, it's like GT3s and Porsches all over again. We could be talking about those boys sharing the invert pole front row for Vermilion Esports. Look at this. Look at this. From out of the clouds, have a look at Cito. Merritt's closed up as well. He's brought Michael Adams with him. A race in 7 at the front, and it's a 1-9-1-2. Cito gets by Lavis. Lavis was first a minute ago. He's now 4th. Patrick Savina, for not holding the brakes, gets a 10-second penalty on Chapo. That last time through, Tony Baker's got a mechanical meatball that he's got to come to pit lane and clear as well. It is all going off here at Barber Motorsport Park. 3 laps to go as we cross the line. Purvis in control. He's got a couple of race wins to his name this season as well. There have been multiple different race winners here. Sagasa, of course, won the opening 2 rounds, but only won 2 races across those 2 rounds. Purvis, he picked up a 2nd in round 1, a 3rd in round 1 as well, a 1st in race 3 of round 2, 2 thirds in round 3, a 6th, a 1st and a 5th in round 4, a 4th, a 5th, a 3rd across rounds 5 and 6, and last week, of course, a 3rd was his best finish, and the other 2 he may as well have written off, I should say, unfortunately for him. So this is the first time he's had clear air in quite a few weeks, Lockie Purvis. Have a look at Cito, have a look at Sagasa, have a look at Merritt. All of a sudden, Merritt from 6th, that margin that he had to claw back evaporated very quickly, astonishingly quickly, and he finds himself in 4th spot at the moment. Adam Lavis and Jordan Pianazola further back. Michael Adams, he's been brilliant this season in Disruptive Labs Formula V. He sits there in 7th, a real chance of moving forward in the last couple of laps. You're right, Aidan Carl. It's got a real Moto3 vibe about it. Well, of course, be in action this Sunday night from the Balaton Ring, Hungarian Grand Prix, of course. on Sunday night. And then, of course, the Monaco Formula One Grand Prix as soon as MotoGP wraps up. Good Sunday night of motorsport coming up. But I'm not sure if it's going to be as spectacular as Thursday night motorsport. Here goes Merritt down the inside, going by Braden Sagassa. Merritt to third, Cito second. So here's an opportunity for Sagassa and Merritt, because this is the first time that they've duked it out on the racetrack without Chapo in the mix. And they're the only two that can get in the way of Chapo and championship supremacy. They've got a massive opportunity to take a chunk out of his advantage and put breathing space, give themselves a buffer back to Chapo at the end of this round, purely through the misfortune that Chapo's unfortunately encountered during this race. He is down in 13th at the moment and not likely to move forward. 2 by 2 we go to turn 7. Have a look at Purvis. He's 0.8 to the good. We're coming to the white flag this time by. Here goes Merritt, making his move now. Sagassa back to 4th. The battle is on between the two teammates now. How good's this been so far? And you just get the feeling that the best is yet to come. Second last corner. Penultimate lap, Michael Adams off the road. And then there was 6 at the front of the field. Derek Fitzgerald advantage, or is the beneficiary, I should say, of that incident for Michael Adams. White flag in the air. One more time around in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 wide. Merritt under pressure from Pianazzola, who has come from nowhere to get back by Braden Sagassa, who's lost ground. Sagassa has lost out completely here, and he finds himself back down in position number 5 right now. Advantage John Merritt of the championship fight. Side by side. Whoa, they're locking wheels. You don't often get away with that. Pianazzola on the inside of Merritt. Jordan Pianazzola is on the podium momentarily. He's got Sagassa on the inside and Merritt on the outside. That turns around to be Merritt on the inside, Sagassa on the outside as they head to the right-hander. And Merritt gets his nose back in front. Sagassa will force the issue at the end of the back straight. Cito's gone to the lead on Lockie Purvis. So you've got a battle for first between Pulse Tuning and 1-9 and a battle for third between the same two teams. And a third thorn in the mix there in the form of Jordan Pianazzola. Half a lap to go. Here comes Pianazzola. Look at the run he gets before a little bit of a Blinky Bill moment. Pianazzola to third. And gets his nose in front. But then it's a little bit wide to the top of the hill, and Sagassa will get back onto the final spot of the podium. Lavis run around the outside of Merritt. Meanwhile, at the front, have a look at this. Will there be a late lunch from Lockie Purvis, or is Glenn Cito Riddell back in victory lane for the first time this season? Give it to Cito. Cito gets it by 0.07 of a second. What about that? And then there was just 0.4 of a second separating that next crop of cars. Sagassa and off Pianazzola, Merritt and Lavis. Fitzgerald, Adams, Booth and Tate make up the top 10. Boydo recovers for 11th. Nealon, Chapman, Baker and Donaldson will get the invert pole. Patrick Savina's half a lap away, and he will be confined to the back of the grid in 16th. Oh, spare me, Matt Schmidtke. I've barely had a chance to lubricate the tonsils. I'm running out of breath.
Let's have a look at a couple of these incidents. This is Ryan Tate on lap 5. He's just lost the rear and cleaned up. I'm not sure who that is. And then another car as well. Very unfortunate. Oh, and there's some more crashing off camera.
Holy smoke. I've lost a cylinder in the voice box already. And we've still got one race to come here, and the Porsches as well. That was a bigger incident than we actually first thought. Wild ride for Chapo. No wonder he had to get a fast repair. And poor old Patrick Savina is the last one across the strike. to grab the checkered flag. Unbelievable. So Cito, it's been a while. It's a nice way to put the misery of the invoices he copped in race 1 to rest. A good little bounce back there. We've only seen him on one other occasion so far this season, 25th, 5th and 17th in that round at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit in Germany. And he's bounced back beautifully. Bounced back beautifully with a win there in race 2. Some of the comments. Very nice, boys. Very good. Thank you. Good to have you in the house. Boydo, of course, commenting from pit lane as he suits up and gets ready for race 3. Oh, boy. Glenn Cito, Lockie Purvis, Braden Sagasta, Jordan Pianazzola, John Merritt, the top 5. Adam Lavis, Derek Fitzgerald, Michael Adams, Hilton Booth, Ryan Tate. Then Grant Boyd and Brendan Neal on Sam Chapman. Disappointing 13th. He'll be trying to bounce back with vengeance in this third and final heat. Needs a W in the context of the championship now, you would think, because that's a tremendous leg up that Sagasa and Merritt have been able to score themselves there. And they'll share the front 3 spots on the grid with Tony Baker, one of Merritt's teammates, and, of course, his own teammate in Eli Donaldson. Oh, boy. Round the grounds for the first time tonight. Roland Garros, the mixed doubles final is underway. Of course, or it will be underway in a few moments. Irani and Vavasori up against Dabrowski and King. So an all-Italian combination. How good are the Italians going in the tennis at the moment? My goodness. And, of course, the North American duo, Dabrowski of Canada and King of the United States. The Thursday night football offering is Manly up against South Sydney. Manly trailing at the moment through 12 minutes of play 4-0. South Sydney have scored the first try of the match and there's a kick to come. And, of course, at the Adelaide Oval, only 55 seconds left in the first term. 3-1-19 Adelaide lead Geelong 2-6-18. Let's go and say a big thank you to the people that make it possible for us to do what we do here, not least those of you that tune in each and every week and enjoy our shenanigans as much as we enjoy bringing them to you. They include Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in anything that we do here on the platforms of the GSRC or buy a bit of our merch, go to the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com for any merch and paraphernalia. And then I'll get back to the mathematical equation for you there, Aidan. I reckon you've just got to finish on Monday night and the job will be done, son. That's my immediate thought, but I'll do a little bit more number crunching for you a little bit later on. And of course, race.tgsrci.com is where you go for the who, what, when, where, why and how of the GSRC. And speaking of going around the grounds, I'll get to England and New Zealand, the first cricket test at Lord's a little bit later on, and I'll get to the third one-day international between Australia and Pakistan in Pakistan once it gets underway at 9:30 Eastern. Tony Baker, Eli Donaldson, front row. Sam Chapman, Brendan Neal, Grant Boyd and Ryan Tate, the first 3 rows on the grid. Remember, it's an invert top 15, and there are a couple of big losers off the start there, unfortunately. You can see Gentleman Grant doing the etiquette thing and just bolting out of the right. Exit stage left. He's just let everybody go through, and he's going to sit there and mind his own business and pick up places as he goes. Thank you, Aidan. Appreciate that. Down the back straight we go for the first time. Great start from Sam Chapman, up 2 spots. But on his inside already is Tony Baker. Forcing the issue, the Pulse Tuning Boy wants to lead from the front. And following the same footsteps as his teammates have already this evening. Merritt, of course, brilliant in race 1. Cito in race 2. Now, Tony Baker would love nothing more than to make it a Pulse Tuning lock out of the night. There's Eli Donaldson. He's a dark horse in this race as well. 9 laps the journey, remember, folks. Oh, trouble. So that's going to rub John Merritt and Glenn Cito out of it, and Chapo as well. They've been caught up in that incident, and Chapo, and something about turn 7, turn 8. Oh, trouble at the back, Tony Baker. Exit stage right for Tony. So 2 of the men that start at the front, gone, and look who's come through 9 spots already. John Hot Lap Merritt from 11th up to 2nd. More trouble at the back, Adam Lavis. I didn't realise Formula V's did such good impersonations of Porsches, Matt Schmidtke.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in this race compared to the last couple.
Holy moly, survival of the fittest on the opening lap. Lavis to pit lane with a mechanical. Tony Baker with a mechanical as well. 3 wide across the strike. The comeback continues for Glenn Cito. Jordan Pianizzolo up 5 spots already. Chapman down 3. Back up into 6th spot. Merritt chasing Donaldson down at the moment. Derek Fitzgerald, what a start from him, from 9th up into 3rd. And also 9 positions gained on the opening lap for both Braden Sagasa and Lockie Purvis, the 1-9 stable. My goodness. I'll try and get back to Aidan Carr's mathematical equation a little bit later on. Schmitty knows the points matrix a little bit better than I do, but I reckon he's just got to turn up and finish on Monday night. And by finish, I mean do what he normally does, turn up and dominate and finish 1st or 2nd. And the job is done. There's Merritt to the inside. Johnny Merritt from 11th on the grid. After finishing 5th earlier in race 2, goes to the front. Fitzgerald is under pressure from Sagasa, relentless pressure in fact. Lockie Purvis is too far back to factor in that fight for the top 4 at the moment. He'll try and drag the rest of the train along to catch the top 4 if he can. Chapman's the next one in the train, then Pianazzola. That was Cito out wide through the chicane. Up over the roller coaster we go. You can see that Sagasa has chosen to dance with Donaldson and Fitzgerald was with Merritt there for a moment, but now they've slotted back into single file formation. Round onto the main straight. Half a second the difference between Merritt and Donaldson at the moment. Merritt leads at the end of lap 2. Across the strike we go. That's a brilliant move from Fitzgerald on the inside. Can he get by? Not yet. Donaldson's going to make him work hard for it. But at the other end of the spectrum, he's also opened the door and left it ajar for Braden Sagasa to slice his way through. So he went for it, but the consequence, the net result is a loss of -1. And that's the gamble you take sometimes, and it didn't work for Fitzgerald. Whoa. 2 wheels on the ripple strip there for Braden Sagasa. Fitzgerald's on his outside. Stab it and steer. That's one way to put it. I don't mind that. Don't forget, Andrew Neil takes over from Matt Schmidtke in the director's chair for the Porsches from Adelaide. I've got a hot flash for him. He's going to have to do more talking than he would normally do because my voice box is about to cark it. And if we get a grandstand finish in this 3rd race like we have the previous 2, you'll understand why I'm saying that this early in the piece. There's 10 minutes to go on the clock, but we know this race will run in excess of 16 minutes. Through the dogleg they go, up over the rise and down to that sweeping right-hander that turns back on itself. Double apex. There's the first apex. Then it's that long sweep around where the steering wheel's not straight at any point. Second part of the corner. And then turn it back left and come back onto the lane straight. Fitzgerald is 3rd. Chasing Sagasa. Merritt holds sway. 3 gone at Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama. One of our favourite stops on the tour. In one context, in one respect, I'm so disappointed we had to wait until week 8 for this. It was supposed to be round 1. In saying that, how bloody good has it been? It's been worth the wait, hasn't it, Australia? John Merritt, Braden Sagasa, Derek Fitzgerald, all in view there. Look at Fitzgerald under pressure from Chapman on the comeback trail for the 3rd time tonight. But this is the 1st time in which he's been on the comeback trail in which he's still had a chance at winning the thing. He needs to get up ahead of these 2 championship rivals, Sagasa and Merritt, but Derek Fitzgerald's the one that stands in his way at the moment. Purvis and Donaldson and Pianazzola are in there as well, and behind him, then Cito, well back, 2.7 down the road in 8th. Excuse me. Through the dog leg. They ride that ripple strip. Not sure you'd get away with that in the pogo stick. That might be the only difference between the V's and the Porsches. Boydo's in that next train of cars there at the moment, folks. The purple and blue car you saw there. Michael Adams just ahead of him, so too Ryan Tate. They're both chasing Hassel and Glenn Riddell. Behind Boydo, you've got Savina and Nealon and Booth. Wavis and Baker, 15th and 16th at the moment. Wavis doing a beautiful job in the first race and the second race, and then unfortunately it just went up the gurgler in heat 3 there, and he had to come to pit lane and grab the fast repairs. So again, a case of what might have been for our good mate Mav. 4 gone. 5 to go. Sagasa to the outside of Merritt at turn 1. Fitzgerald to the inside. Chapo! Oh, Fitzgerald's fallen into the trap again. He's left the door ajar, and this time not only Chapo, but also Lockie Purvis want to take full advantage of that, and maybe even Eli Donaldson as well. Have a look at Jordan Pianazzola latching onto this battle pack. It's a race in 7 at the front and up for the first time tonight. 3 wide down to the hairpin. The left-hander at 5. How good is this? I'll say it again. Formula V never disappoints, especially when getting the right car and track combination. And we've got 3 pearlers throughout the final 3 weeks of the campaign. Willow Springs Motorsport Park next week. Then, of course, on to the West configuration at Casa de Shahin, a la the Ben Motorsport Park in South Australia. The Shahin Palace. John Merritt, Brayden Sagasa, Sam Chapman, the 3 championship contenders are exactly where you want them to be. Michael Adams back there trying to get by Ryan Tate. You would have maybe caught that at the top of shot. There they are. And Adams will go around the outside of Tate, and Tate will have to slot into 10th. Here's Boydo having a crack on the outside of Ryan Tate right now. Not yet able to get through. Michael Adams in 9th spot. John Merritt leads. Back to the main straight we go. Chapo, what about that? 1 minute 41.596 last time through, and he's charged back through to the front. Now he's all over the back of Merritt like a cheap suit. 4 to go. And another grandstand finish on the horizon here. Thoughts on this one so far, Schmitty? I don't think we've picked up, I don't think we've missed any major incidents out there on the racetrack. It's been relatively clean once we got through the shenanigans of the opening lap.
Yeah, I think so. There's not really much listed on the incidents besides some passes after lap 1 or lap 2. So it's been pretty clean so far. Merritt,
Ben Chapman, Donaldson, Fitzgerald. Have a look at Derek. It's always there in one of those invert races, at least one. And tonight is no exception. Have a look at Purvis and Sagasa. Under pressure from Pianazzola. Hot lap Chapman. Then Donaldson, Fitzgerald. Line astern at the moment, but when they get back to the main straight, expect them to break out into lanes of 2, at least, maybe 3. There's the first bit of evidence to support the statement as Chapman goes to the inside of hot lap, rides the ripple strip and then some. Chapman to the inside. Here comes Eli Donaldson, big crash at the back. There were a couple of cars off in the grass that managed to gather it up. Cito, Adams, Tate and Boyden all had off-track alerts light up simultaneously. Thankfully, they're all good. Somehow, I don't know how, but they must have been getting greedy with the grass. Down the inside. Actually, that's good for the summer. I might use that. Oh, there goes Chapman! If he didn't have bad luck tonight, he'd have done it all. And with that, maybe the title aspirations disappearing on him at the same time. Can you believe that? Loose at 1.
I think he
Crossed
might
up.
have got
Couldn't have saved it.
little bump from Merritt there.
Can we go on board with Merritt just to verify that, please? Let's have a look at it from the cockpit of either driver, really. We just need that shot a couple of seconds before turn 1. If we can go back maybe 3 seconds before that. Merritt leads from Donaldson, Purvis, Sagasa, or maybe just maybe a touch. We need...
It's a bit hard to tell from that angle.
It is a bit hard to tell. A bit like the incident earlier. the save from Pianazzola. We'll get another look at a later point, I'm sure. In the meantime, this is what's going on at the front end of town. Chapman has dropped all the way to 14th as a result of that. And here goes his teammate, Eli Donaldson, in the lead. I wonder if Donaldson's been drafted in to try and aid some sort of assistance here for Chapman. In the same way that Purvis will support Sagasa and Cito will support Merritt. Or whether Donaldson's just here for the fun of the fair because he's heard all about Formula V and that it's the hottest ticket in town and he wants a piece of the action. Let's go. Main straight. 2 to go. Merritt, Donaldson, Purvis, Sagasa, Pianazzola and Fitzgerald. Still a live chance at getting 3 different winners in the night. But that all falls apart if John Merritt stays where he is. What was the comment there earlier? All over him like a sweaty shirt. That's a good summer reference, particularly up here where it's like sitting in a sauna from April through to October through to April. Merritt, Donaldson, Purvis, Sagasa, Pianazzola, Fitzgerald and Cito. Cito leads the next pack of cars. That's 7th through position number 10 at the moment. And Chapo's got himself ahead of Booth, Nealon, Savina and Lavis on the comeback trail. There they are. Have a look at them. 4 of them. 3 wide. That's Boydo on the outside. On the inside there was Cito getting pushed along by Ryan Tate. Michael Adams on the inside of Boyden, and Boyden slots back into 10th. Good to see Grant in the top 10. Despite giving way to everybody at the start, all the garbage has gone to the outside. He hasn't been implemented or caught up in any of it. And as a result of that, he benefits greatly from the fact that he is sitting there in the top 10 on the cusp of scoring his first GSRC top 10 in this final race of the night. Righto, ladies and gentlemen. Tighten your seatbelts one more time. We're about to go on one hell of a ride here. Donaldson, 2 wheels in the... Oh, actually, it was 3 wheels in the grass, I reckon. And that's allowed Merritt one big lunge and look before we get back to the main straight to see the white flag. One more time around at Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama. How good's the racing been tonight? Let's go! Last lap of round 8 of Disruptive Runs Formula V. The 24th race of the season. There was nothing separating them in the strike. Donaldson to the inside, gets by Merritt. He'll get back in line to try and cover off Purvis and Pianazzola. Sagasa's in there as well. Have a look at Pianazzola on the inside of Purvis. And Merritt goes to second. Purvis will want to try and get his way beyond Merritt to help Sagasa in the championship fight. And look at Sagasa pushing his teammate along and trying to achieve just that. Big lunge down at the end of the back straight. Oh, look at Lockie Purvis. Donaldson locked it up. Purvis goes through. Oh, no, trouble and gone. There goes Donaldson and Pianazzola. And Purvis goes from 4th to 1st in the space of 1 corner. And it's wiped out 2 race-winning contenders. Derek Fitzgerald is started at the 1912 with half a lap to go. Have a look at this. Bang! Gone. And nothing that anyone could have done about that. Purely a racing incident. Back we go. Half a lap to go. Purvis, Sagasa. Is Lockie Purvis about to get back in victory lane for the first time in weeks? We've been talking about this all night. The winless streak that a few of these guys have been on. Cito's got on the winners list tonight. Purvis is on the cusp of getting back on the winners list. What can Derek Fitzgerald do in the run to the line? Let's wait and see. Last turn, checkered flag. Will there be a late lunge from Braden Sagasa? I don't think so. Braden Sagasa is going to lose out. Lockie Purvis gets his first win in weeks in Disruptive Labs Formula V. Ahead of Sagasa, Fitzgerald and Merritt. Cito in for 5th. Michael Adams, Ryan Tate, Boydo, Chapman and Pianazzola. Hilton Booth, Brendan Nealon held off Patrick Savina in a photo. Adam Lavis and Tony Baker will round out the running order. And poor old Eli Donaldson had to come back on the tow rope right at the very end. Unbelievable yet again. Disruptive Labs Formula V. I say it all the time, Schmidtke. It certainly doesn't get any bloody better than that.
Yep, that was some wicked racing they just had there, and it was almost clean. Just the tiniest little bump through turn 5 there that had a bit of an unfortunate result for a couple of drivers, but other than that, it was great watching.
It was unbelievable. Lockie Purvis. So just to put a full stop on that comment as well, folks, I mean, we mentioned the run that he had at the start of the season. We haven't seen him in victory lane since round 4 at the Miami International Autodrome. So it has been 4 weeks between drinks for Lockie Purvis. And 3 different race winners again tonight. Merritt, Cito, and now Lockie Purvis. And the championship fight blown wide open because of the mixed fortunes of Merritt, Sagasa and Chapman tonight, particularly Chapo on the back foot in all of that. Sagasa and Merritt a far better night at the cockpit. Unreal. How about that? We've got Lockie Purvis standing by. We've got Braden Sagasa standing by. Hopefully a few of the others will drop in very shortly. Oh, boys, the seas part beautifully for you, Lockie Purvis. You go from 4th to 1st on 1 quarter on the final lap.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit dodgy with all of us there. We were all sending it. We all knew it was the final lap, and I got away with it. So, yeah.
I know Boydo's pressed for time, but either we'll see you back out on the track next week in that V, mate, or hopefully we'll get you back in here and have a chat properly. If you've got 5, I know you're pressed for time. I know you've got other commitments tonight, but if you've got 5, feel free to slide on in and have a chat with us here as well. We do have 25 minutes before the Porsches will be on the grid on the streets of Adelaide. Lockie, it must be nice. Round 4 was the last time you saw the checkered flag first in one of these races?
Yeah, it's been a tough few weeks for me in all series. So I think I finally break the curse here.
And what a time to do it, mate. I mean, mixed fortunes for one of your teammates' championship rivals tonight. John Merritt, you were able to see off the threat of hot lap there in the closing stages. And was there any discussion between you and Braden in that last half a lap about who should lead at the strike with a view to Braden's championship aspirations in mind or not?
Yeah, look, there was a lot of teamwork, and I'll give full props to Braden for pushing me along. I guess he feels bad for me being 2nd place or 3rd place, so he pushed me along there. He wanted me to have a win, and yeah, shout out to him.
Braden, you led on a few different occasions throughout the course of the evening, but I tell you what, even though you came up empty-handed with regards to a race win tonight, you couldn't have asked for a better night as far as the championship fight was concerned, because you kept yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still catching my breath after that one. That was...
oh, you and me both.
Yeah, that was pretty intense out there. Can't wait to watch the broadcast back, because I'll probably be streaming it myself. I completely forgot your question. Yeah, it was a hell of a race, and yeah, it's, really unfortunate to see, some of my championship contenders get caught up in drama. But, we've all been there this whole season. Lockie's had his bad luck. I've had my bad luck. Everyone's going to get it once, throughout the season. And yeah, it's really unfortunate it happened so late in the season, but we still have 2 more rounds, and we just hope for the best.
And boys, I'm going to invite my co-commentator from last week into the conversation at this point. Stay with me, because I want your thoughts on Willow Springs in just a moment. But Boydo, I didn't read between the lines at all well when you first sent me the message tonight. I get into this to the booth, I open up live timing, and I see G. Boyden on track. I was hoping that you were going to come back and join us here in the commentary box, but I'm so glad to see that you got out there in the thick of it, mate. Talk me through it from your standpoint. How much fun was that?
Look, I just tried to stay out of everyone's way. I know there's championships up for grabs, but the second race was great. Brendan was behind me, and he got past me, and I got past him, and then he was like, I don't know if I can trust this bloke, so he just I felt sorry for him. In the final race, Tatum Adams and I, there was one other driver in it. We had a blast. We were just giving each other's curry. I mean, I think they were quicker than me. I think the slipstream just held me there, but I had a blast. It was great fun. Nice, clean racing too.
Absolutely it was. And 10 points to you as well. I've never seen someone so quickly bail exit stage left at the start of a race as you did there at race 3, again with those comments you made at the start of the night about not getting in the way of anybody.
I said to you before I came in, I just don't want to get involved in anyone's championship and stuff it up. And then I'm on P5, I'm no. And I thought, oh, look, I'll jump on. I won't even jump on. I'll just pull to the side of the track, let everyone pass and have a bit of fun. And that's what I did. So hopefully I'll stay out of everyone's way.
And the funniest thing about that, mate, obviously, having seen the racing last week, having been here in the booth with me, you would have been well aware of the invert. And we had a smaller field tonight than we probably would have been anticipating. Yeah. So I said right off the top that that intention was, you know, I mean, it was well intended and it was very good sportsman etiquette from you. But it was short-lived because you were going to get thrust into the invert at some point. And sure enough, there you were at the start of race 3. Stay there with me, mate. I want a couple of more thoughts from you in just a moment. Johnny Merritt's joined the conversation. Hey, hot lap. Nice to see that you called up the reinforcements. Cito, of course, a little bit of trouble for him in race 1, but he bounced back beautifully in race 2, and you kept up your consistent and winning ways. And on a night where Chapo's not had a night to ride home about, a night that he would rather forget, it's bodes well for you and Braden with a view to maybe dethroning him and going to the top step of the summit yourselves over the course of the next 2 weeks. Talk us through it from your standpoint, please.
Yeah, mate, got lucky in race 1 and managed to get away from that wonderful draft train. But race 2, I just struggled to make my way sort of forward and was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But and the final one there, I was looking forward to a sort of last lap battle. Unfortunately, curbed at the hairpin. But good night. Good to have some of the boys aboard for some laughs and classic V's.
And that's the thing as well. So a couple of points here, mate, that I want to elaborate on, based purely on your comments now. So that last lap, you mentioned the curb. Obviously, there was a bit of collateral damage in all of that. Lockie Purvis is forever grateful because he's taken 3 places in one corner and gone on to pocket the W. But in saying that, that's just one of those unfortunate racing incidents. There was no malice, no nothing in that. And your second point about trying to make your way through the field in the second race, just how bloody hard is that on some of these circuits where it's so draft friendly, and Barber is certainly one of those.
Yeah, well, that was probably the issue in race 2. I think Tony may have been behind me. He said, geez, you're getting a tough run, and or something to that effect with more colourful language. But
yes.
No, the draft was so strong. If you get held up trying to get a draft off a corner, it's all over. But made for still a fun night, irrespective. It's the key is probably getting those moves done in the first lap and a half of the race, to stay in that lead group. And
it's certainly done your championship aspirations no harm whatsoever. I mean, coming into the night, it was 24 points between you and Chapo. As we say, he could not take a trick tonight, unfortunately. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have none at all. But his misfortune tonight could easily be yours or Braden's next week. So I want your thoughts on what the game plan is here, knowing just how unpredictable Formula V racing is from the pair of you over the course of the next 6 races, because Willow Springs is going to be more of a lottery than anything, given how draft friendly that circuit, a circuit that is. And not just, as you know, John and Braden, I think you might have been there when we went Mazda MX-5 racing as well. It's not just on the straights where it's draft friendly, it's around the bloody long sweeping corners as well.
Yeah, around the bowls, if you like. Yeah, look, I think you can make the best laid plans in V's or these single formulas, but you got to play it out as it comes. And sadly, Chappie was unlucky tonight. You got to have a bit of luck, and ideally have some clean races to get those extra points too. So, sadly, I think I was on 0x till that hairpin in the last race. Hopefully, it doesn't come down to 1 point or 2. But no, you can't plan too far ahead, Zach, to answer the question.
Gasman, your thoughts? And nice to see your cheer squad only growing in our comments section as the season rolls on too, by the way.
Yeah, just heaps of people rooting me on, really appreciate that. John said it perfectly, there's, you can't predict the last 2 races of the season. Anything can happen, like Sam, such a high caliber driver, and being caught up in being drama, that could happen to either of us. And in these bonus points, they need to come in handy, because it could come down to 1 or 2 points.
and very lucky in many respects the way in which you guys were able to stay out of trouble throughout the course of the night. Even you, Lockie Purvis, because the Formula 3, you ran into a little bit of trouble there the other night. At least you were able to avoid trouble for the most part in the V's tonight. It's more fun when you have a clean run, right?
I think you
Are
said
you there, are you there, Lockie? Have we lost Lockie? We might have. All right, you might be able to speak on his behalf, Braden, considering that you were sitting in the Discord with him throughout the course of that race.
Yeah, and we're actually in the same house. I'm trying to call out his name and see where he is.
All right, we'll work on that. We'll work on that.
I don't know what's happening. It's always
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sorry about that. My push stopped working. Yeah, it was good to get some luck tonight for sure. F3, even 86s. I just got caught in some drama and it didn't work out for me. So yeah, it was good to have a good one.
And I know I talk about it being a three-horse championship fight, mate, but really, you were only 61 points off the lead coming into tonight. And given that Adam Lavis had a setback in that final race, you'll probably find yourself fourth tonight with 2 rounds to play. Which is good news for you. I left the door open there for you to say something, Lockie, but I'm assuming that you're pushed to talk still.
Dude,
Yes.
sorry about that. Yeah. I'm just having Discord issues.
All right,
Trying
well,
my best.
I'll tell you what, let me wrap up with you first so you can go and sort those out. Who would you like to thank? And then I'll go back to the other 3 boys.
Gassy, the 19 boys, my missus for watching, some of my family members, and the broadcast for putting on a good show.
And I'd personally like to thank you for sorting out your technical issues in advance ahead of next week's broadcast. Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you for next week. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. There he is, Lockie Purvis. Oh, technology's a beautiful thing when it works, Boydo. Let me ask you this, because obviously you've now dipped the toe in the water. And as you know from real-world experience and sim-world experience, it's a bloody addictive drug once it takes hold of you and grabs you by the scruff of the neck. Would we be more inclined to see you back out there in the car next week or behind the microphone with us?
No, I definitely want to be out there racing. That's part of it. I'm going to give, if they have another season next year, if they have another go next season with the Formula V's, I'll definitely be here to do it. I love it. I mean, especially when the racing's that good, you know. Hats off to everybody for. I know there were some other issues further up the track. I could hear them being called out and things like that. But everybody I raced with raced clean and nice, and that's all I'm after, just to go out and have some fun and enjoy myself. And that last race was a freaking hoot. I actually have a go at this, Zachy. I recorded it for my YouTube channel and forgot to commentate for the entire race.
No.
I'm going to go back and voice over it now. It was just intense. It was great.
You have my permission to rip our audio if you need to.
Thank you.
For the purpose of saving yourself the hassle of an extra 45 minutes of work. And by the way, I'm very impressed with how quickly you were able to wrestle your way out of whatever the other obligation was tonight, quickly highlighting the priority that is the GSRC.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, the people here are so good. They gave me a go, and I read through the rules, and they said start at rear grid, so I did that, and I'll worry about next season being competitive next season. At the moment, I just want to go out and learn it and have some fun, and I certainly did that tonight. So thank you to the league, and thank you for you guys for putting on the broadcast too.
Where were your teammates tonight? A bit MIA, I couldn't help but notice.
Yeah, I messaged Nathan earlier today and Alexander, and just haven't got a reply. So I don't know what the story is there. I know that Alexander's got some computer issues, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I'll find out.
Not the first case of computer issues we've been alerted to this week. As I said, technology's a beautiful thing, but only when it works. Hey, big long weekend coming up for the progressive and civilised parts of the country, as well as Northern Territory citizens. Will we be able to catch you in action doing your best on Sky at all?
Yes, I'll be working right through the weekend. So that's the joy of doing sports for a living. You work weekends all the time.
Exactly right. All right. Very nicely done, mate. I'll let you go at this particular point in time. I've still got a quick question for Braden and also Hot Lap, but is there anyone you'd like to thank that you haven't already thanked?
Yeah, the sponsors, all the guys that have got on board and supported this series. I mean, that's a massive thing for a sim league. So a big shout out to all of them, Disruptive and everybody. That's amazing stuff.
Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Couldn't do it without them. Couldn't do it without the members joining in the fun of the fair as well, Boydo, and also those tuning in at home. And you mentioned about Formula V coming back for another season. I think we only had it for one of the 4 terms last year. Don't worry, I'm lobbying for it, and not just for another term, either 3 or 4. But I wouldn't mind seeing it 2, 3, 4 nights a week. My vocal cords might beg to differ on that, but I'd love to see the more Formula V racing, the better.
I'm with you.
There we go. I've got the endorsement, and that is a paid political announcement, by the way. I've got the endorsement of G. Boyden. Very nicely done. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Pleasure.
From Grant to Braden and John, just quickly, as we wrap up here, boys, and I mean that because we've got Andrew Neil standing on by. We've got to do that baton change from Matty Schmidt to Andrew Neil. Final thoughts on all of that. Hot lap, Willow Springs is going to be an absolute beauty. How late will you leave it to start the preparation for that, please?
Oh, probably till the night, I think. No, the track all right, so good little track, and it'll just be draft racing, I think, so looking forward to it.
And is there anyone you'd like to thank before I let you rock and roll?
Oh, just the support of the Pulse Sport Lexus boys, and obviously, as Grant said, all the club sponsors, GSRC for putting it on, and yourself, Zach, for the call, and Matt Schmidtke, obviously the broadcast.
When Braden goes back to re-watch this, he might just want to turn the volume down 10 or 20% before he gets going, because by gee, it got lively and loud there on multiple occasions throughout the course of that. What do we have? 40 minutes of racing and 24 laps of absolute phenomenal entertainment. So if you didn't enjoy that, go and check your Pulse, ladies and gentlemen, because you're very difficult to please. No pun intended, because we are talking to John Merritt from Pulse Tuning, of course. Hot lap, when do we next see you in the car, please? Before the Formula Vs, I mean.
Mate, I'll probably have a crack on Saturday night, hopefully, time permitting, and maybe for the 86s early next week.
All right, Braden, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Go well, enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up on, hopefully, this time next week, next Thursday night.
You need, thanks, Zach. You need to sort that Difflam sponsorship too for the tonsils.
Strepsils, Difflam, I'll take anything at this particular point in time. Any sponsorship endorsement that I...
will be welcomed.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that requires me not having to reach in and pull money out of the wallet, I'm all for it. Well done, mate. Thank you. Braden, last one to you. Obviously, thank whoever you want to thank at this particular point in time. I love how your teammates in here asking me to crunch the numbers for him, knowing full well that it's probably his championship, whichever way it falls next week, however he finishes in Formula 3. But you've got 3 championships coming up, 3 potential podium berths. Exciting times.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the 1-9 guys have done and absolutely amazing this year. You know, we haven't had, terribly, good luck in the past, but, we've really rallied together, fine-tuned a few things, and, we've done really well this season. And I'm proud of all the boys that have come out and, put on such a great performance.
How familiar are you with Willow Springs, by the way? Have you run the V around there before?
No, but I do remember the first season of the 86ers when it was absolute drama, and I somehow got away unscathed and got one of my first wins in a while around there. And yeah, the house really broke down after that one, because there was. I think the neighbours weren't very happy with that one.
Well, of course, you got to win last week at Brands Hatch. Prior to that, you got to go back to Miami before we last saw a one next to your name. Hopefully, you'll get another win on the board next week. Who would you like to thank?
Obviously my mum, her partner. They're always watching, rooting me on. 1-9 guys for always coming out. Chris for putting on this amazing livery as always, and obviously just the whole GSRC. You, Zach, Matt, and Adam. Andrew, just everyone that puts us together and puts on an amazing broadcast.
The one thing I was going to say there too earlier, as we sign off, Braden, thank you very much. Well done again. Great work. Thank you. And good luck over the course of the next few days. We'll see you Monday night.
Thank you.
Long Beach, of course, Formula 3, he's next stop. And Commitment, we've got Porsches coming up from the Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit on the other side. We've got all the action from the Elite Split for you. Open results to follow. Matt Schmidtke, thank you to you. Final thought?
Good racing. That's like usual. There's some incidents here and there, but yeah, that's to be expected with the close racing you get with the V's. But other than that, well done to everyone.
Schmidtke sounds more out of breath than I am. Are you jumping in the Porsche or not?
I was thinking about it, but maybe there's 15 people in the Elite Split and 5 minutes to go. I might put another car on track for you guys to laugh at the back there.
I'm sure we won't be laughing at you in any way, shape or form. Although, I can't help but acknowledge, you know how earlier in the piece I was saying props to Boydo because he's multitasking, because he's talking to us from the cockpit, typing in the YouTube comments whilst he was on air. And then he comes in and says, I forgot to commentate. So the multitasking is there in some part, and it's something we'll fine-tune over the course of the next couple of weeks as well. But keep an eye out for Boydo's cockpit point of view with regards to the racing that was from Birmingham, Alabama, Barber Motorsport Park tonight on his YouTube at a later point. We'll take a break at this point in time. You'll need to switch over. The Porsche Cup feed is on a different link on our YouTube page, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel, do so. Same goes for the Facebook page. Thanks to Matt Schmidtke for his work. Baton change. Andrew Neal picks it up for us to bring you all the action from the Porsche Cup from the Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit on the other side of this, and we'll go around the grounds when we come back. Stay with us.